Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Thursday training, which is also the Q&A training session. My name is Star Johnson, and I'm one of the national trainers here, and I also have my co-host.
Hi, Tina Bradford here with you.
Thank you so much for joining. Before we begin today, I just want to make sure that everyone can see the screen. We're showing our website that reads the Modern Mortgage Experience. And to the right of your screen, you will locate a webinar control panel that looks just like this. And this area, this is where you can pose any questions you may have, feedback, and or concern. So definitely add your touch points here, and we'll try our best to answer those questions throughout today's presentation. So right off the bat, I want to know from you guys, where are you calling in from or tuning in from, and what enterprise are you associated with? Please let us know right there in the webinar so we can greet you. And also that lets us know you can hear our directives so we can move forward with today's presentation. So we have a lot of people on the call. Looks like we have Monrovia over there by Duarte, Prime Lending. Welcome, Diane. Anyone else would like to let us know where you're from? Please enter that information right there in the webinar. So thanks, Diane, for volunteering. That lets us know you can hear us. So we want to go ahead and launch a poll. And we want to know, what strategy would you guys like to see today? Please go ahead and vote and add your particular vote right there in the webinar control panel. Because again, this is a Q&A session, so we want all voters to vote.
And if for any reason you do not see something in there that you want to do, let us know in the question box. We're here to make sure that you get your answers for anything that you guys are having problems with.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. So it looks like a lot of people have chosen, which is so bizarre today. They have chosen the open house presentation and also the seller buy down. So we're definitely going to show you those particular items today. So what I would like to do is bring a blank browser over and give you the experience of an open house presentation. So let me bring my iPhone right over here. So today it's all about how to market and position yourself for prospecting new realtor relationships and keeping your existing relationships in your pocket. What do we call that, Tina?
Money in your bank?
We absolutely do. So this is what the open house presentation looks like on your mobile device. You can see here Tina has created a fabulous open house presentation, co-branding herself and her realtor partner. So you can see here her realtor partner is Eric. And what's your relationship here with Eric, Tina?
Eric and I actually went to high school together. We went to school in Weston, Missouri, little bitty town. Just a few, I think 350 people. I'm a farm girl, so that is how I know Eric.
Awesome. So here you can see when you're looking at the open house presentation, you can get a lot of great information in here. You can have a catchy title. You can have great little tidbits about the property. You'll notice there's two dots on the actual photo here, meaning they're interchangeable. So if you tap your finger here, you can go from the front of the house to an amazing kitchen just by tapping with your finger. Your clients can see your virtual business cards by tapping on your photo here for yourself and your partner. You also have the ability to review property features, so all the features and amenities for those properties, and also the payment options. So the different payment options that you can build for your particular prospects and prospects and potential buyers. So you can see here in Tina's example, she is showing a 30-year conventional, a 30-year FHA, and also an VA product. So that's looking at all the great details here on the actual mobile device. And I also want to show you just a little bit of how you would build that. Just a brief little recap with going into the system of some of the areas that you would build when you need to create this for your potential realtors using the Mortgage Coach system.
And remember, this is an interactive class. Anytime you guys have any questions, concerns, feedback, let us know. Drop that in the question box. We want to be here and help you guys out in order to improve your business.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, so what we'll do now is we'll move and transition to the Mortgage Coach system. So here, to access the system, you would need to open up a blank browser, type in the web address of edge.mortgagecoach.com. You would enter in your email and password that you use to authenticate yourself to access the system. And then it will take you to your dashboard, which is your home screen. Just as a reminder, when you are touching bases with those new families and you want to show them all the great things that you can do on the mobile device, whether you translate that information on their mobile, you send it to their phone, or whether you send it via email, there's a lot of great content and presentations you can offer to your customers. So FHA versus conventional, ARM products, those construction loans, cost of waiting, that move up buyer presentation, and a lot of other great strategies here. But moving back to the actual system itself, when you're working with new families, you will be working under the new client area to build all of your total cost analysis presentations, whether it's purchase, refinance, or some different type of strategy. When you're working with those new partners or prospecting to build those open house presentations or seller buy downs, you'll be working in your new partner area. So if we click on the actual open house presentation we were reviewing earlier for Eric, you can see here, as soon as you click on new partner, now you're ready to start building. You'll complete the partner area. You'll move over and enter in some great details under property. So the property address, the features, and also you would enter in or download the images for that property. Once you do that, you'll move over to products. As you can see here, there's the 3 products that we've seen on the mobile that Tina built. Anytime you're building in the wizard and you see a orange exclamation mark, you would definitely want to revisit those areas here. And the reason why you see that is because for the VA, there's no down payment requirement. So there's a 0 here. When you advance forward, you would see an indicator. Let me move all the way through out of product, and you'll see that indicator there. Here's the analysis so you can determine the outputs. One important thing when you're building your open house presentation, when you are building the TCA, total cost analysis, purchase, refi, or different strategies, the contacts tab is an area that you can bypass. But when it comes to the open house or seller buy down presentation, this is an area that you need to complete. The reason why you need to complete this area is because if you don't fill in the information, you will not have the important information here for your realtor partner. So make sure that you complete this area in the contact field with all their great information and also their headshot and logo. And here's the final presentation. So this is how it looks on the actual browser. And you can see here a comparable from what it looks like on the mobile and what it looks like on the browser. So on the mobile, you can upload up to 2 images. On the browser, you can also upload 2 images as well. You can actually upload 3 images, and of the 3, you need to select the best 2. So you can definitely see what the differences look like. So if you want to give your customer that digital experience, definitely always send your clients and prospects any presentation on their mobile or on via email so they can get the digital experience versus just those papers.
And my favorite actually is when it is on the iPad. Have you seen it on the iPad? It's beautiful on the iPad.
It's very sleek. And a lot of top industry loan officers, they'll have their iPad at a docking station and they'll add video. You remember, you can add video to any presentation.
And you can loop it so you don't have to push play each time.
And give the opportunity of all those new millennials, first-time home buyers to get that dynamic video from you, educating why buying now is so instrumental, and just have that keep playing, and they can see that when you have all that traffic flow.
Absolutely. The other thing is when you do the video on there, let them, your borrowers or prospects know that they can push on the screen and actually share it by texting it to themselves. Because when they text themselves the home information, because that's how you're going to come across on the video, they're also going to get your contact information as well as the realtor's information right there on their phone.
Great point. So here is, again, the open house presentation. I want to pause here to see if there's any questions at this point. And what I would like for Tina to now move into the seller buy down and really show you, spend a little bit more time on the seller buy down so she can really articulate why it's useful in today's season. So now we're getting on the downward slope of tax season. Some people haven't did their taxes yet, like me.
I've done mine.
I didn't want my money too soon. So now you're in the downward slope of people doing getting tax season. So they're getting all this money back. A lot of people, time to reinvest this money, time to invest it in something, maybe a house. So you can really show them the impacts of the seller buy down. So I'm going to pass it over to Tina now at this point. Guys, let me know if there's any questions with the open house flyer, if you want to look at some different areas before I pass the ball right over to Tina. Well, it looks like we're all clear in the queue, Tina. It's all you.
Okay, anytime that you guys do have questions, always feel free to just drop it in. Star and I are really good at monitoring that and making sure that we get to your questions. So most of you guys are probably thinking, seller buy down. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Most of us do not have even enough inventory currently on the market. Well, I know that I'm currently home shopping and I'm looking in Long Beach. And in Long Beach, there is a home that has been on the market for quite a while, and they keep dropping the price about $10,000 every month. So I'm just waiting for that sweet spot so I can go in and swoop it up, repair it, do some changes, and then resell it. But when I go into Redfin, this is how I find properties that I might consider. So when I go into Redfin, Redfin has a great search engine because you can find those homes that are sitting on the market that they are lowering the prices on. And let's pick a random place here in Southern California with us.
How about Rancho Cucamonga?
Ooh, Rancho. There we go. And I haven't looked in Rancho at all. Actually, that's where our little starlet lives.
Don't tell everyone.
That's where our little starlet might live. So one of the things you might do if you want to minimize the amount of homes here in Southern California, we do have less homes than normal on the market, but there's still quite a bit out there. But I'm going to go ahead and not filter that, but I'm going to click into this more filters.
You know what, Tina? I have a friend who was trying to sell their home for a while, and I wasn't really snooping, but I was.
You were snooping.
I was. I wanted to know. I wanted to know how much they were asking, and also how long it was on the market. Mm-hmm. And I think it was on the market for 120 days. And yeah. I told her, I said, you know what? I said, I think that you should pull it. You should relist it. Because I know one of the things that home buyers are looking for is, why has it been on the market so long? What's wrong with it? Why can't they sell it? Right? And with her realtor, they weren't marketing it right. They only had a few little pictures, so small. Mm-hmm. And I said, you couldn't bring the eyes of the potential buyer into the home, and they need to expand the pictures. And now she's in escrow, and she's moving by the end of the month.
Look at you, girl.
Great tip, right?
So one of the things in here that I always look at is I look at this price reduce. So when I go into price reduce, I can actually set it on here how many days back. So this area I haven't looked in for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and click it on 14 days. So any home that's been on the market for more than 14 days that they have reduced the price, it is going to still be listed here. If you want more in detail, so let's say we want something a little bit, at least 30 days, we'll get a few more. But let's go back to that 14 days. So that is the first spot that I always make sure that I click on, because I want to make sure I'm finding those homes in the market that are sitting. Those are those people I'm going to be approaching. I'm going to click on the update search. And now we have the list of the homes right here. Next, I'm going to go into sort. And I'm going to click on time on Redfin. So I want to know how long has it been on Redfin, and yours actually is listed a little different than mine. I want the table, I think. There we go. So click on that table. It makes it really easy. So right now it's listed 4 days on here. I'm going to click it so it's the other direction. I want to see which homes have been on the market the longest. So let's randomly pick a home here. I'm going to use the 410 because that's not into jumbo pricing yet, so I don't have to worry about that. So when you find a home that you want to prospect, double click on that home and bring it right up. So now I have this home available. I'm going to go in and build just like she did for the open house flyer, and I can actually use this property, do an open house flyer and a seller buy down product at the same time by filling out the very same information. So you can actually hit both sides of that. So in here, I can see the realtor here. So this is Dana, and here's this property. Now, I don't care if there's something wrong with this home. I don't care what that issue is. All I know is that it's been sitting on the market and it has had a price reduction. So I go down to the property history here. So I can look here and see they've actually been going down considerably in this market. We can see, yeah, they started up pretty high back in October at 500,000. So now they're down to 410. So there's something going on. We don't know if it's the way it's listed. We have no idea. But I do know that in a perfect world, if this is what the comps would come up as, this is what those people would want to sell the house at. So I want to approach my realtor with the possibility of doing a seller buy down. And I'm not going to go in and put all this information in on this new home. I'm going to use the same presentation that I used before, but we're just going to make the assumption that it's that other home. So on this, I want to use the 30-year fixed because more likely in our market here in Southern California, that 30-year fixed is going to be the property. So let's go back here to Redfin really quick. And 410 is what it's listed at now. I want to say, what if I can sell it for 425 for you? What would I have to do? So when I go in here, I'm going to go into that 425. So now I have that higher price listed again. Now, we are not in a working environment, so I don't pull rate sheets, but what I do in here is I actually go in so I can kind of do a more comparison. I'm going to open this window up for myself to see what that 30-year fix could be. So we're looking at a 30-year fixed about, we'll put 4% on there. So that's a going market rate for there. So I'm going to put that 4%. All the other factors on this loan are going to be the same. I'm not going to worry about product 2 and 3 when I'm doing the seller buy down. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the select reports. So this is a jump menu, and I'm just going to jump right here to the select report. Now I'm going to switch it over to the seller buy down. So we're looking at selling it again for higher than what they have it listed at because they've been dropping that price. Now we have to figure out how much is this credit going to be and how much am I going to get to change that price with that buy down. So in order for me to figure that out, I'm just going to go in and put what if I have points. So you guys would go into your rate sheets. I don't have a rate sheet, so I'm just going to cheat a little. I can go in and I can get 3.75 with 1.1 points. So now when I go in here, I'm going to go back to product, my 30-year, and I'm going to figure out how much that points is going to be. So when I put in 1.1 points here, tab off of it. If I put my mouse up there, I can see it's going to be 37.40. I want to make sure I erase this and go back over here to the preview. I think, let's go back one. It's in here. And it was 3070?
37.40.
37.40.
Yeah.
So now I know I'm going to a price of 3.75. I know it would be 0.25, but let's say it was something a little different. If I put the 3.75 in here and tabbed off of it, it's going to tell me the percent of change right here. You're going to put that percent of change right here. Now you have to have the percent of income to qualify. This is only the upfront, so this is only your housing. On average, 34% is a good one for you as upfront, but you guys do know your own regulations, so you would put that in there. Now I have it set up for the seller buy down. First thing I would change is right here on that presentation title. This is on the presentation. So you want something a little bit more catchy on here. So maybe seller bringing in cash. Something to let them know that this seller is now interested in helping move this home along. This is going to be that headline on the presentation, so make sure you put something catchy in there. Make sure you talk to your realtor and see what they want to put in there because, again, you're co-branding this. Both of you guys are working together. Now you're going to help them move that home. Moving on through, you do pick one photo. I happen to love the kitchen in this home, so I'm going to pick that kitchen photo. It's completely up to you. And this is the same presentation spot that you would normally come to. As always, put that quote date in, protect you and your company. These are all estimates based on this day. And now we're going to generate that link. So this is that dynamic link. This is a hot link. Any changes you make are automatically updated on the presentation. So we can go into Edge Live and drive it like we could any other. Add video, share it from here. I'm just going to click in the add video just so we can see what comes up. This is the same presentation now. I would suggest you guys making an open house presentation, having that on your iPad, but then printing this out as a PDF and placing it right there beside the iPad. This is going to let them know how they can go in and they can maximize it. So you can see in order for them to get the same change in payment, they would have to almost go down to that $410 that they're currently at. So that is the great thing about this. They are investing way less money. They're only investing a little over $3,700. However, they are going to be getting the maximum amount of decrease on their monthly savings. So this can be a little complicated for some people. I'm going to go through each of the lines and go down and explain what each one is. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop it in and I'll answer it for you. So we have 4 here. The first one is 30-year. If they sold it on the market currently as is at the going interest rate. So you have that 425 at 4%. The 20% down product is used on all 4 of these. On the bottom, what you want to pay attention to is that monthly payment. And then it does also give you that little cheat, income to qualify. If you are concerned that maybe in that area income might be a little issue, you could highlight it. And the other one you're going to really look at is that monthly savings. So the second product is a price reduction. What if I reduce that price by $37.40? What is that outcome going to be? Well, that outcome is going to be, yeah, you're going to lower the monthly payment, but you're only going to lower it by $19 by applying that towards the sale price. Other factor is now you're lowering the equity in that market because you're lowering the home prices by selling it at that lower value. Interest rate does stay the same here. Now the third one is that buy down. This is that seller money going towards the actual rate to decrease it. I know in some markets I was presenting this the other day, and he says every single deal, seller is throwing in $3,000 to actually let the clients use that for closing costs. Well, it might be a better choice to throw that $3,000 towards that buy down. So if that is a normal practice in your market, then you can show them how they can use that money to actually buy down the rate to have a lower payment. So in this one, that rate stays the $425 for that cost. And now they are going down to 3.75 on that interest rate, so they're saving their quarter. But that payment is now going down almost $50 a month. So you can see how applying just that $3,700 has now considerably saved that family $49 for 360 payments. That ends up being a lot of money in the end. The third scenario right here, how much money would we have to decrease it in order to get that same $49 savings? At the very bottom, they show you would have to decrease that price $12,731 to get that same monthly savings as applying just that $37.40 to the loan. So if you do see those homes on there, and I showed you exactly how to search them out, what you do now is you create this seller buy down, create an open house, email them both to the realtor, or go visit the realtor with one on your iPad, one as a PDF, and present it to the realtor. Why are you making the changes? To lower the price. Let's try to get you more commission, me more commission, keep the equity in the home so the neighbors are happy, keep your seller happy because now you're showing him a new strategy on how he can put more money back into his pocket, as well as the buyers are going to be happy because their payment is going down $50 a month and they are still paying the same amount for the home, so they're still going to have that equity built into their home. So again, this is a fabulous strategy for those homes sitting on the market and a great way for you to approach realtors to show them that you have a more in-depth understanding of the buying process. So any questions here? I'll stop for any questions.
I know I really like it. Definitely, it really makes sense mathematically when you are putting $3,700 versus $12,000. That's a big difference.
Huge difference. And like I said, it is an all-around way to make everyone in the whole process happy.
I do have a question for those who are on the line, to those lending professionals. Do you think the seller buy down is something that you can position within your market today? Let us know right there in the GoToMeeting window under the question area. Diane was our volunteer earlier. Diane, what do you think? And you can also you can raise your hand as well.
Why don't you think it would work in your area, Diane? I'm just curious because I know that in every area there's homes sitting on the market. So if they've sat on the market, they've decreased the price, those are the homes you hit.
Anyone besides Diane, while she's typing her message, anyone, we have a lot of people on the call, so anyone else want to open up or just share your feelings and thoughts about the presentation?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, she put homes do not usually sit very long, and that is true. Right now, we are in a seller market. There's not enough inventory out there, but there's always a few homes sitting there waiting, and we don't know why they're not selling. But I think having this strategy in your back pocket for those homes, and especially if you're a newer lender trying to get some new referrals from realtors, this is a great approach again to show the realtors that you are definitely more understanding, because I worked in the industry and, I'm just going to throw it out there. Not all LOs are the same. Not all LOs are really understand the financial process and what is going into the selling and buying of the house. They're kind of people pushers. They have just enough information to make them dangerous, just enough information to do a deal or two with the realtor, and then they upset the realtor because the realtor finds out they're not so knowledgeable. But this is a great way to show that realtor that you understand the process, because a lot of LOs out there, they don't understand the process, and this figures it out for you. The only thing I had to put in was my reduction information. The other two, the price reduction and the price versus rate reduction, automatically figured it out for you.
And while Tina is reading the question from Tiffany, just want to point out we do have our resources in our support center. And we do have a quick hit video, a video asset for you guys to review. All of our video assets are anywhere between 5 and 12 minutes, but it actually goes through this process with you. All you have to do in the search engine, and we'll touch on that, is type in seller. You have to type in a keyword, phrase, and or scenario, and you can review this quick hit tutorial.
And yes, I'm actually going to read Tiffany's comment because it is solid. It's right on. She put, I think it's a great tool. It just shows that you are willing to go outside the normal strategies and that you are the expert. There are so many loan officers out there, but not many are willing to put in the extra work and time to offer the value added to the realtors and the sellers and your own buyers. It shows that you are there to help, not just to get the commission for yourself. And Tiffany, 100%, I'm actually going to pull that quote and throw it on our internal feedback, because that is 100% what this seller buy down is about. It's even if you don't get the realtor to work with you with that house, that realtor is going to remember you, because now you brought a different approach. And to be quite honest, a lot of the realtors are pretty fresh in the market and they haven't worked in a market where they've had the seller buy down be used. So this is going to be a new strategy for them that they don't even know about, because they are somewhat after the boom. That's when they came into the industry. A lot of them didn't last through that boom. So this is a great way for you to approach them. We're just wanting to help you guys get more realtors to work with you.
And that's definitely true. Thank you guys so much for the comments and feedback. Tina, do you think we have like maybe about 5 minutes or so that we can just look at a move up buyer presentation that you already created?
Absolutely.
I just talked to, because I know someone asked for a move up buyer. So let's just look at a final presentation and just walk them through the output.
And this is a great, I have my strategies all built in here. When I go into view all and I go into search, at the top of mine, you'll see the asterisks. If you put that in front of a presentation, then you know that these are the presentations that are safe to show your realtors. In my time for a new home, this is my move up buyer presentation.
And when you say in front of the presentation, you mean right in front of either the report headline or either in front of the maybe a customer's name or something of that nature, whatever you want to show first.
Absolutely. The report headline, if you're doing it as an individual, you'll put it in front of that individual's name. But as a professional, you don't want to disclose your client's information. So I would always suggest making it a marketing piece, and you would do that right here. And that allows you to only put in the marketing information. So you're not disclosing your personal information of your personal buyers.
And one other little quick tip for you while we're talking about either an asterisk or maybe a number, you can also use that the same way when you're naming your fee templates and your product template.
Perfect. Absolutely. So I'm going to just go through each little screen really quickly. So on goal, we're going to tap into equity. Because we normally don't know how much equity, I leave that blank. I'm going to go into the assumptions. This is the amount that we are assuming the property is going to appraise for. So the new appraisal value will go right here. Now you are going to put down information on the client's current mortgage. If you're doing a marketing piece, you want to just build in enough equity into that home for the marketing piece to be able to purchase in based on your market. If you, again, are using it as a marketing piece, I choose not to put in hazard insurance or property tax. If you're working amongst different counties or different states, this allows you to be able to go in there and not have to change or adjust it for that area.
And one other good thing when you're doing a marketing piece, because it's not tailored to a customer, you might just want to compare principal and interest payments only, because you might hit those customers who maybe not most, but some like to pay for their taxes and insurance yearly.
True. Affordability, there is nothing in here that I put in when doing a marketing piece. Of course, if you're doing an individual client, you want to have a dynamic conversation with your client to fill that in. I'm going to move over to products. I'm now going to choose how much I want to move each product up. In this scenario, I went up $50,000 each time. If your marketplace is a little tighter, you might use $10,000 or $25,000. You want to tailor it to the market that you're in. So what I did was, instead of using that $350 here, I changed it to the $400, dropped in the rest of the information pertaining to the product I'm using, and this is a 30-year fixed. Moved over, I did add closing costs because I know what product I'm adding. However, I added on the bottom of this another little section, proceeds from sales. So in order to add that, click on the custom fees, add proceeds from sales. You do not want to click either one of these and then just click on save. When you do the proceeds from sales, you do need to put in a negative or a minus sign in front because you're going to be subtracting this from the closing cost. And the other thing you need to make sure you do is right here, click this prepaid escrow button right here because they're receiving this money before escrow. So when you click it, it actually works a little differently than if it is unclicked.
And one other thing about the prepaid escrow, you want to make sure that box is checked because when you have your final outputs on the presentation, it does not interrupt your short-term analysis. Because in the short-term analysis, it does not tailor into any prepaid escrow. So that's another reason why you want to check that box as well.
We're going to apply it to the loan. And then we'll go through, and now we would not put any information because this is the same way that I've set it up in my assumptions. And you would add your next product. Next product would move up the percentage, going through the same process for each of these loans. But in essence, to save time, when I get to my next product, I actually use the copy from feature. And I copy it from my first one that I created. So I click on OK when I'm ready. And then I would just change this price right here. That's all I need to change on the presentation. I would go then to the next page and create my third one, do the new product here, create my third one. Same process, adding the amount, doing the copy from, adding that amount to the purchase price. That would bring us over and complete it so we could go into the analysis screen. Analysis screen, couple of things I want to note here. If you're doing a marketing piece, find out what the appreciation rate is. Right now, the going rate for the average American home is 4%. So I could put 4% if I'm using it all over. And the other thing I like adjusting is this long-term analysis year. It's normally 15. I adjust it to the 10. The reason I do that is because most families are now selling their home in approximately 10 years. It used to be 7, but it's moved up to 10 now. Monthly saving benchmarks. I'll show you why I changed it to the 500. I don't like showing the red on here. In a lot of people's mind, red brings negativity. It brings bad thoughts. So in order to adjust that, I simply move it to the highest one.
One other good thing why you mentioned that, Tina, is it depends on your customer, right? So right here's the marketing piece. What's going to get your customer off the fence? Is it going to get them off the fence if you put it in red? Ooh, it's going to cost me more, right? I don't want to pay more. So you can flip it to the red. Red means you're going to pay more. You're going to pay more to move up, or you're going to pay more for this product. So depending on what you like to do and get your customer off the fence. So using it in your best interest.
Good point. And also down here at the bottom, I do have those 3 choices. I choose net worth because I want to show that buying that bigger, better house is actually going to grow you more net worth. So that is why I choose the net worth one. Now, contact information again, I'm going to skip. Not concerned about that. I'm doing a presentation piece. However, in there, I will say street address. Put something catchy there. Because if you put something catchy there, that does come over and it is on the sheet.
Tina, can you go right back to contact?
Yep.
So remember, guys, contact, we're doing the move up buyer presentation, which is a total cost analysis or any other strategy. Contact for a TCA, total cost analysis, you can bypass. There's no red indicators here. But when you are doing your seller buy down and your open house flyer, you cannot bypass because you will not be able to insert your co-partners with the co-branding. So you must complete that. So please take note of that.
Perfect, thanks. And now we're at the presentation part. We are going to leave it on total cost analysis. You can choose which one. So if you do this and you're like, oh, I looked in the home I'm selling, there's no homes listed for $500,000. Why are you going to include that on there? Just go ahead and uncheck it, and that way it is not in there. The other thing, when I do this, I capitalize that it does not include the taxes and insurance in there. That is just my own little quirky thing. I like to make sure people pay attention to that. Now I can move on through here, but I'm going to jump over to the preview. And this is the same as normal. I do unclick the notify me when this report is viewed. If you're using it as a marketing piece, typically you do not know who's clicking on it. So the only time I would have this clicked if I was putting two separate presentations in two separate places in order to see which place worked best as far as marketing, which one's going to drive me more business based on the number of clicks that I am getting on the presentation. Otherwise, marketing pieces, I always leave it unclicked. Add that to quote date, again, for you and your company's protection. And now we're just going to click into preview so you can see how it's presented. So here's that move up buyer presentation. And we're going to stop this. There we go. So here's that move up buyer presentation, and you can see how it's displayed. It shows their current situation compared to if you buy into a home $50,000, $100,000, or $150,000 more. Now, on this, one of the things I would point out is right here, cash to close. In the first two scenarios, this family does not need to bring in any money for cash to close. They're going to use the proceeds from the other home. Now, what I do want to make sure that you do remember is when you are doing this presentation, you want to buffer in that closing cost on that first home. So even though that might show that they have, let's say, $70,000 in equity in the home, you're going to take off about 10, 15 of it, depending on closing costs for your area. And you are going to put that as the proceed amount. So take in the calculation of that closing cost on the first home before you add in your proceeds. Anything else you want to note on here, Starlet?
No. One other good thing is I want you guys to take notice of the highlighting. So remember, when you can highlight, you can go through each particular column. You can highlight a whole column by highlighting in the product name. You can draw your customers to different areas to highlight. There is a clear all feature to remove all highlights, but just as Tina's done, you can read the closing costs. You can highlight here, highlight second time to unhighlight. So just bring your attention there. And after you do all your highlighting is when you need to get your great video on your presentation. So you can add video everywhere. Seller buy downs, open house flyers, and TCA strategy. So definitely add video. For the people who are on the call, how many of you are currently adding video to your presentation? Anyone? What about you, Diane? You're like our
poor Diane. I'm sorry. She likes to throw people under the bus.
Or what about you, Tiffany?
Oh, beautiful. She just ordered a new camera.
Perfect. And does Tiffany?
Shane doesn't know how to. So I think that's your cue. That's your cue to show him how.
No. Go ahead, Tina. Show Shane.
So here, when you are on here to add video, and I'm going to go off here because you have to go into this generate link. Now, there are two ways to add video. There is on the computer as well as there is on the phone. I'm handing the phone over to my little Starlet.
If I must.
So,
watch your shoes.
Oh, my super high heels?
Yes.
So on here, I'm going to click on add audio video. When you click on add audio video, you know that you're on the right screen because down at the bottom, it has a record message spot right here. When I click on record message, it brings up the camera. So there we are. Hi. Say hi, Starlet.
Hi. I'm trying to work the phone. Can you move my phone on that side?
I sure can. I'm going to drag her over here with me. Maybe she's changing things as I move.
Okay, guys, so I want to show you when you want to add video from the mobile. You have to have that app downloaded on your phone, which is the Mortgage Coach app here. You'll tap on it. Once you do, you'll see that silhouette. If you can move the mouse right over there, Tina.
Right here in the upper left-hand corner.
That is correct. You'll click on that silhouette. And once you do, you would log in with your email and password, just like you would accessing the browser. You'll see your little mini dashboard, just like you did on the browser. You'll click client, because we're going to look for time for a new home, that presentation. You can see right at the top, it's the same presentation title right there.
And we want to say bye to Diane. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye, Diane. Thank you. You were awesome. So now we're going to select time for a new home. We're going to select the total cost analysis. And then there's right in this area video. So let me get ready for you. Tina always likes to throw me underneath the bus. So video right here. Hi guys. Hello, Tiffany and Shane. This is how you would do video using your mobile device. So you might like the quality a little bit different on your mobile versus on the actual browser. Now, I'm not going to record a video because this is Tina's account that we're working in, and I don't want her to
have your phone floating.
Oh, there I am. I don't want her to blackmail me, guys. So I'm not going to add video, but when you are ready to add video, you can hit the little red record button here, and you'll see a counter right at the top. You want to make sure your video is always short and sweet and to the point. You do a call to action, and when you're done from the counter, you want to make sure your video is how many minutes, Tina?
Less than 3. You can record up to 5, but we say 2 to 3 minutes max.
Exactly. So when you're done here, you'll hit the record button right in the middle, and you can either use or retake. I'm going to do retake, and I'm going to cancel.
And I will let you guys know our videos here might be a little sketchy. They might jump. They might do crazy things. We are loaded with so much technology on our computer. That is why it happens. So hopefully if yours, make sure that you do have a good internet connection, both via your phone and your computer in order to prevent that from happening. So any other questions at this time? And I'm going to move this off because she's going crazy over there.
Bye, guys.
So no more questions. We will go ahead and wrap this up. You're welcome, Shane.
Let's show them really quickly about accessing the support center and how to access some help and revisit the seller buy down or open house presentation before we wrap today.
Alrighty, so anytime you need help, right here, upper side, it says help. This is a keyword help. So anytime you go in here, all you need to do is type in any keywords. Now, I'm going to give you guys a really quick little rundown. If you're not using RateWatch right now, you need to be using RateWatch. And I'm going to quickly go into the phone just because I know the market right now.
You get the phone.
It's so volatile.
And I'm going to show them here.
Okay.
So if you do seller, how to create a seller buy down. And let's just say for any reason you can't find what you're looking for, in the top right, you can always submit a request. We have a team of experts here that are our support experts, and they work here Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 Pacific Standard Time, excluding holidays. But anything you need, you can either check out resources, frequently asked questions. Mortgage Coach tab has playlists and scripts, how to get started. But right there in that search engine is where you can do your keyword searches, and you will pretty much find 99.9 things of the time what you're looking for. But in the event that you don't, always submit a request, and we'll definitely we do pride ourselves to get responses back to you guys within 30 minutes or less.
And the only reason why I'm bringing up RateWatch is because I know right now market is changing where people are starting to rate shop a lot more. So this is one of those ways to help you guys bring your clients in and prevent them from rate shopping. When you approach a client, you want to make sure that you're not talking rates. You're talking industry. What's going on in the industry? Well, rates are volatile right now. They have been since the close of the election. So constantly we are going up and down. But I want to show you, I have this tool. It's called RateWatch, and I watch the rates every single day. If you'd like, I would be more than happy to share you a daily alert on what's going on that day with the rates. And you can see here, all those yellow diamonds, if you're on an Android, it's a circle. That is a dramatic rate change that has happened during the day. If you go back to alerts, it'll show you those alerts. But send this to your borrowers or even your realtors. Let your realtors know you have this in your back pocket. When you send this, it is only sending a screenshot. So when you're on the day rate, and I know why this is yesterday. I'm going to switch it to today. So to switch the day, upper right corner is date. Switch that date and just click anywhere on the screen. Now we're in today's. So you can share this with realtors or borrowers. Let them know you're a professional. You know what you're doing in the market. And this way, when you talk to your clients, tell them, you know what? I keep my finger on the pulse with the rates. I know what's going in the market. I have this great tool. I can send it to you daily. We can decide when is the best time for you to lock your rates because it is a volatile market. You will see tons of advertising saying they offer this rate or that rate. That is always based on the day that that marketing was made. It is not based on today's rates. So let them know that you guys are the ones that are the professionals and you have the tools at the fingertips in order to make the best decisions for your clients. So that is all we have today.
Thanks, Tiffany. You have been awesome.
We do want to thank you guys for your time. We know that your guys' time is best spent out in the field originating, so that is where we're going to send you right now. Go out there, use the tools that we've taught you, and get some extra realtors in your back pocket and originate.
Let's meet that month-end funding goal.
And let's see you here again next Thursday. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.